Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
So we are John.
And Terry.
Just go.
Let's go.
So we're here. We wanted to do an introductory video to let you guys know kind of who we are, what we're all about, what our YouTube channel is for, a little bit about our family, our lives. We're currently in Split, Croatia. We're going to be heading to Dubrovnik. So we're here. We had some time and we thought we would talk.
Yes, absolutely.
So a little bit about ourselves. So Terry and I met about 2.5 years ago, and we got married about a year later, and we had been talking about traveling. I've been passionate about travel. I traveled with my career for 20 plus years, and I wanted to travel. And when we met, we talked about it, and she was on board 100%. So basically I just kind of fast tracked all of the plan and started really hunkering down with details and kind of how we would do this. It basically started about, I don't know, maybe a year ago. We were talking and I said, let's start next year. Like, let's get this going. COVID was kind of behind us, and we had started to really set up our financial position with, we rented out both of our houses, one in Nevada, one in California, and we kind of really set the ball in motion financially earlier this year.
Yeah, I think when he asked me, because we both, when we first met, were like, oh yeah, I'd love to travel. And so when he asked me, okay, so we got married and bought a house in Nevada, and we have our condo in California. And so we started traveling sooner than we thought we were going to. We were going to wait it another year once we got into our new home.
So just before I met Terry, I bought a camper, and my plan was, because I was single at the time, to just kind of go and travel around the U.S. and just kind of, hunker down on weekends and go have some fun. So going back to September of 2020, in the middle of COVID, my company had offered up some, what? Just don't pick it up. These cups are empty. They're decoration.
We wanted something to...
Okay.
Okay.
So going back to 2020, so I decided to step away and retire, if you will. That's what I thought. And then about 10 months later, one of my competitors had called me and said, hey, we're looking to build a business. Would you be interested in coming back? And I thought, yeah, Terry and I had just met. She was younger. She was going to be working. I thought, might as well go back to work a little bit. And so it worked out great. So for the past 2.25 years, I've been working back in high tech. And about a month ago, we are now both fully retired.
And I was in the medical field. I was a medical assistant for 30 years. And I worked for Stanford. That was my previous job in California. And then when we moved to Reno, I worked for...
Northern Nevada.
Yes, Northern Nevada.
So yeah, and then she worked there for about 6 months, and then we really just got into this thing about traveling and kind of started to get serious. And so we started looking at itineraries, and we started looking at times. So when we decided to rent our house in Reno, as another financial part of it, it got rented in one day from the guy that we work with, our property manager.
Very fast.
Yeah, one day later it was rented, and he said that's the good news. The bad news is they want to move in Friday. And so this was at the end of February. So we decided, you know what, let's do this. Let's just roll the dice. And so we did that. And fortunately, we've got some amazing friends. Shout out to Dave and Karina,
yes.
Sean and Michelle, in Reno that we've known for decades back in San Jose, and they've all relocated to the Reno area as well. And they let us kind of move in for 2.5, 3 months, and everything worked out great. And we'll pay them back someday somehow. But so yeah, so then on May 23rd, we left the States on a one-way ticket to Taipei. And that was Terry's first international trip. And so, of course, we had to upgrade her to first class.
Yeah, that was really amazing. Loved every minute of it. And so we just also took a long air flight, so I got to experience that without first class.
Yeah, we do as much as we can with points, especially on the long hauls. But we have noticed these days that with gas prices going up and everything else that's so crazy with inflation, we have seen that the price of airline tickets have gone up, and then even with points, they've gone up, considerably.
Yes.
So I've chosen not to do upgrades with most of the long hauls because they've basically doubled. So instead of flying from the U.S. to Europe or Asia for about 30,000 points each, it's been about 40 to 50,000 each, and that's just a standard economy. Whereas a year and a half, 2 years ago, or I should say previous to COVID, I used to be able to upgrade overseas with a first class or at least premium business for about 50 or 60,000. Now those are 80, 90, or even 100,000 or more. So we're flying economy. We've gotten pretty lucky with open seats between us, or sitting on the 242 flights where we get the 2 seats and we can kind of not worry about leaning on somebody. But yeah, it's been fun. Sometimes it's a little testing on our I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So John and I are a blended family. So I think traveling those 3 months, having access to FaceTime has really helped.
Sure.
We have 5 beautiful grandchildren.
Yes.
And 4 children, 1 of mine, and then there's 3 of John's. And we'll put on a little picture for you guys to see them.
Yeah.
But
they're amazing, and we miss them every day.
Every day. But having those, the FaceTime, it makes it easier.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. There's a story behind that.
Yeah. I wanted to continue talking about our blended family. So John has 3 children, like I said, 2 daughters and a son. I have a son and a daughter. But I had lost my daughter, Marissa, 4.5 years ago, very suddenly. And it's very hard for me to talk about it. And I just wanted to do a little separate video. But I could do this. You guys, just can know that I do have a daughter, but she's not in a lot of the pictures that we have recently. She will always be with me. In fact, I have a small little amount of her ashes that John and I carry around. A little bit about my daughter. She passed when she was 29, and she was a medical student doing very well in school. I'm proud of her, and I thought it was very important that she be included in our intro video. So I hope you enjoy some of these pictures of her and I and my family. Appreciate us, opening up our life and our hearts to you. I know that she would be so happy with all of our travel. She loved to travel, so I know that she's shining down on us. Would be very proud of John and I doing what we're doing, so take care, and thank you for watching. Take care. So so we would love your guys' input. We are brand new to this. We've been watching so many travel videos and getting to know some of you out there and learning from you guys, and that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we follow dozens and dozens of people on not just travel, but all kinds of things. But the travel people that we follow, and you guys all know who you are if you're watching this, you guys do a great job with your videos, and I'll talk about that in a second. But you've taught us kind of the foundation of traveling full time, because it's not for the faint-hearted. I mean, you don't just pick up your life and go out there and travel, full time. You have to leave your family and friends behind, and that's the hardest thing. Beyond that, packing up your life, putting everything in storage, whatever it may be. It's just you miss your daily basic things,
Yes.
your pillows, your couch,
Yeah.
just doing everything we used to do on a daily basis. That, we find amazing things to do, don't get me wrong. Traveling is just amazing, and we've seen, some of the most, just beautiful things in the world, from museums to beaches, the food, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
So before anybody asks, we walk probably 2 to 4 miles every day. Most of the time it's usually uphill because these cities are, up and downhill.
Mm-hmm.
But we eat like crazy. We both are pretty fortunate with, I think, good metabolism. So we haven't put on any weight, which is surprising, especially in Italy.
Yeah. Italy was amazing.
It was. And hopefully everybody goes back and looks at all our videos. We're getting better at it, I hope. We're learning a lot about just how to edit and how to create a story. I think the first few videos, I'm just putting things together that, we saw that we did. But now I'm trying to think about it a little bit more, be a little bit more methodical about creating a story from the time we land until the time we leave the Airbnb. And YouTube for us it's for fun. It's to keep our family and friends that are far away, just to keep them a little bit closer and in touch with what we're doing, just to see them.
And to show that we, our experience. Anyone can do this. You just have to plan for it. And I think, because we were going to just lock our door in our Reno home and not rent it out, but we were like, why do that?
Yeah.
So
if we're committed to this, let's commit to it. And that meant, thinking about the financial part of it is, first and foremost, don't do this unless you're prepared financially, because, there's a lot of things over the time of travel that traveling is not as simple as it seems, and it's also not as cheap, but it's not nearly as expensive as people tell you and as it appears to be, right? We're not on vacation. We're kind of living a lifestyle of travel. We're global nomads, just kind of living out of 2 big backpacks, a roller bag, and a couple frontal small backpacks.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And we're trying to shrink it down every trip. We tend to expand it throughout the trip, buying a few souvenirs and a new shirt or a new jacket. But it's definitely something. Get your financial world in place. Traveling doesn't cost as much as vacationing by a long shot. I mean, we'll talk numbers later on. We'll give you guys some ideas. But just as a rough estimate, we're trying to keep our travels at about $5,000 a month. We haven't been able to do that yet, but I think as we're learning how to travel, we're also learning how to plan, how to, hotel costs, food costs.
And that depends on what countries you're going to.
Yes,
for sure. Some that are more expensive, and I think we hit a lot of the more expensive countries in the first 3 months. So we'll see how that goes. Australia, I don't know.
Yeah. So our first 3 months,
expensive.
We did Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, and then we shot over to the Netherlands, and then we did Germany, we did Prague, Czech Republic, we did Poland, we did Warsaw and Krakow there, and then from there we dropped into Greece and Italy, and I think those 9 or 10 countries. We stopped in Hungary for a day as well on a layover, and then we went through Austria probably 6 times.
And ramble all of them off.
I know it does. It sounds like how'd we do that in 91 days? But the fact that I think most of those countries would fall definitely in the top third of most expensive countries out there. There might be 1 or 2 that was in the middle, but as we go through this year, we start looking at that and we start saying, okay, we haven't met that $5,000 a month goal yet, but when we hit Southeast Asia and when we spend a lot of time in Indonesia and the Philippines and it's
I think we'll be more on target.
For sure. We may be able to drop that down by 60, 70% and knock out a month or two at $2,000, $2,200 for the month.
Although John and I have not had our honeymoon, our official honeymoon, so we are going to the Maldives, and we will probably spend a little more money there.
Yeah. Well,
kind of splurge a little.
The Maldives is the last 2 weeks on this leg. So we'll be rolling out of the Maldives back home for December, which is Teri's birthday month, as well as Christmas, obviously, with the kids and grandkids.
Another year older.
Yeah, another year older. So, yeah, and so on that point, so I'm 61 years old. Teri is 56. And, you know, this is the time to do it. We don't have unlimited days, right, left on our calendar. Nobody does. And so you got to pick your poison with what's more important, making money for another year or enjoying life. And I mean, living life, living out your dreams, doing things that you talked about, you know, since you were a kid.
And our children are so excited for us.
Yeah,
they really love it. They're like, oh, we're watching your videos, and you know, and the grandkids like watching them too.
Yeah, they're actually jealous because they all have to work and we get to just go around the world and play.
We put in our time.
We did.
So,
hopefully we raised them all in a way to where they want to do this when they get older.
Yes, absolutely.
And I hope we inspire some people out there. I mean, it's so much fun. And there are days where you're just done. You need to just rest. I want to watch TV. I want to lay on the couch. We've had days where, you know, we'd wake up at noon, roll out to the couch, watch TV for a few hours.
Yeah, and there's days that they're, you know, just like, hey, let's just walk to the beach, because where our Airbnb is, I sometimes make sure that they're walking distance to several beaches, like we are here in Croatia. It is basically a 10-15 minute walk, and we'll go and spend the day there, make some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, bring some drinks, and just hang out. And
yeah, it's not all glamorous, right?
Yeah, it's a
peanut butter and jelly
simple,
sandwiches, a couple beers,
relaxing, amazing, swimming in the ocean, and the people that you meet are amazing here too. And some of them are not. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, we've had people
like,
that have tested us.
Yeah.
So personally, I've been to about 45 or 50 countries in my career.
Yeah.
Teri's now been to, before we started traveling, she had been to 3 countries. Now she's been to north of 14 or 15. So you get to a point where you can't say, what's your favorite country?
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, if I had to pinpoint right now, it's really hard since we've been here at Croatia, and we haven't been to Dubrovnik yet. I'm really loving it here. I love
it's amazing.
Italy.
It's beautiful.
You know,
Italy,
my background is I'm Spanish and I'm Italian and Mexican. So
and I'm Italian and Polish
yeah.
and Scotch English. So Scotland, Poland, Italy. Her is Italy, Spain, and Mexico. So we go to our hometowns or our grandparents and great grandparents' homes, and you just feel connected. It's just, you walk into the neighborhoods and you just feel like, you know, almost like you've been there. I know that sounds kind of cliche.
This is so cool.
Yeah, we would check mailboxes to see if we found our last names, and never did, but
yeah.
But yeah, and we're having a blast.
And it's all about the experience for us, and just living in the moment. I know that's kind of living in the moment.
Yeah, it's cliche, but it's true. You have to live for the moment, and that goes back to talking about, you know, working. You can work till you're 100 years old, and you can make as much money as you think, you know, your buddies want you to make, or keeping up with the Joneses kind of a thing. But let me just tell you something right now. You will never run out of money, but I will guarantee you will run out of time. And there's nothing in this world that is more precious than obviously your health and time. So when you're in that point of your life, and we believe it's right now, it's late 50s, early 60s, we're healthy, we've got a ton of energy most of the time, and we just go.
Yes.
So that's kind of how we got our video channel name is, we're like, what should we do, like, you know, next year when we travel? And we're like, let's just go and we'll figure it out. And so that was the birth of,
we looked at each other.
John and Teri, just go.
Let's just go.
Yeah.
And
and then back to the, you know, picking a favorite country. There's countries that have amazing food. There's countries that have amazing culture. There's countries that have amazing architecture and landscape and coastlines. And it's just so hard to say which one has kind of the best of everything. There's a few that are up there, and I'm not going to talk specifically, and places in Latin America where she has not been yet. are just unbelievable.
I look at the people and everybody is just living and trying to survive and living life, and everybody's the same, but they have different cultures in the way they dress and the way they talk. It's, you look around, you're like, wow, there's a lady just, sweeping her porch or her cobblestone, street, and
hanging
people,
up their laundry,
bustling to work or what have you, and it's just like it's all the same. Where it's a small world, but just different cultures, the way people look and talk, and it's amazing. I love it.
And don't get your impression of the world based on what you hear on the news. The world is a very safe place. Obviously, you have to be careful, walking late at night, especially if you're a woman. You got to be careful of the dark alleys and things like that. But when you're traveling the world, people are so gracious and so helpful.
Yes.
Even if they look threatening, because they don't look like the person that you're used to seeing standing outside of a grocery store or walking down the street at 10 o'clock at night. They've helped us at midnight in Sicily. People that you were clutching onto your backpack a little tighter. They ended up being the most helpful people, walking us to our Airbnb front door, and then we saw them the next day, and they're just out front with their friends, just barbecuing and talking and working their booths and things like that. So, give the world a chance, give people a chance. Don't make any assumptions. Do your research though on cities, because there are certainly places that are maybe a little bit more dangerous, or maybe a little less, that are a little less safe, not so much dangerous, but just be careful. Absolutely. And there's scams everywhere. And by the way, when people say, oh, don't you feel unsafe, or don't you feel, listen, I'm from Chicago, and if you've ever been to Chicago, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to go to Croatia or go to Italy or go to Greece or go to Poland or go to Germany. It's just as safe there as it is anywhere else in the world, and it's just as unsafe in places like the U.S., in Chicago, in San Francisco, in New York City.
I think you just have to use your basic instincts,
of course.
And just your surroundings, look at your surroundings, and be aware.
Yeah.
And not only that, to get on a different subject too, is we won't go into it a lot, but medically, John and I are pretty healthy.
Yeah.
So I recently had a double bilateral knee replacement.
February 1st last year, 2022.
So it's been a little over a year and a half.
But we wouldn't have been able to do this if she didn't have that.
If you guys want to hear about that story, let me know. But I'm doing very well, by the way. Best thing I could have ever done.
A quick story on it. So when we met, she had gotten an injection.
I was getting steroid injections for my knees. I was doing physical therapy. I've had 2 meniscus surgeries on both my knees, cleaned them up,
But then it was about 2 months into us dating, and we were in Santa Cruz, California, just hanging out for the weekend, and we walked across the street, and she grabbed her knee. From that moment forward, we couldn't walk 5 minutes without her having to sit down anywhere, whether it was at home, in the mall, at work, just getting around life. So she had made the decision about 6 months later, scheduled it, and on February 1st, 2022, she got it done.
Yes.
And it was about 3 to 4 days of kind of, getting up, and then it really healed beyond our wildest imagination.
Yeah, having them done at the same time for me, because I was 56, was my surgeon said it was the most ideal thing, and I was pretty healthy.
It's like having twins. You can get pregnant twice, or you can have them both at one time.
That's funny. So I had that done. I'm able to walk. My knees are not like my old knees, like when I was 20, but I'm able to walk and stand for long periods of time, and I would not have had to done any of the walking and traveling that we're doing now.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely experienced on getting to this point, right? We're not you 25 and 30-year-olds out there traveling with the young bodies. So we've kind of the financial part of it, setting it up, was really important, but getting to a place where we're healthy. We have took care of her surgery. I'm in great health as far as I know. I've always had these dings and dongs that you always wonder about, but making sure that you're ready for it with your health. And I'm going to roll into kind of our healthcare and also kind of how we did this financially, because I think that's important. So with our healthcare, so as I retired, my company did give me extended healthcare, so that's good for now. It is U.S. healthcare, so we have to be careful just because using it overseas is not easy. It's obviously out of pocket, and then you take it back, and you take care of business back in the U.S. But it's there, and so we're more than covered for catastrophic. We're not worried about anything like that. But eventually, we're going to have to do one of a few things. We hear a lot of you talking about Safety Wing. There's Cigna Global. There's IMG. There's a number of them, but Safety Wing seems to be the easiest, most cost-effective, and it's just a really simple. I've used the website and gotten quotes and everything. And it's just a really simple process. So
we haven't used it yet.
No, but here's the other thing: we've gone to other countries. And Teri had a situation where she had bronchitis.
Yeah, so we went in there and it was Korea, and we were seen within minutes. The doctor was very efficient. It cost us $40 for a visit, cash. Yeah. And then I had my prescription, it was $12.
Right downstairs. And
amazing.
Thanks to our friend Sean in South Korea.
Yes.
He helped us kind of translate. We talked, we called him when we got to the doctor. He did the translation for us.
But we use Google Translate a lot too.
Yeah, so This just happened to be our first experience of, oh my God, what do we do? She had bronchitis, and it was just kind of nagging for about 2 or 3 weeks.
And then one time John had an earache from swimming. That's what I think happened. Anyways, he had a little infection going on. We walked in to
a pharmacy in Venice, Italy.
And
this lady gave me a recommendation for a steroid antiseptic or antibiotic drops. Mm-hmm. I used those for 48 hours and it was virtually gone. It cost me $7.
Yeah.
So the insurance thing.
You would never be able to do that in the States.
No, you never. Unless you got really lucky with
if I came in for bronchitis,
it would have been $300-$400.
Probably for a doctor's visit, probably like anywhere $175 to $160. Plus, I don't know how much the prescriptions would have cost. It would have been a lot.
And we would never have gotten in 30 minutes.
No, never.
Never.
You've been waiting. You would have, it was crazy.
So you have to plan all that stuff. You really have to be ready for the medical part of it, because, you do not want to be held, liable for a big expense.
Yeah, and I pretty much got a lot of my stuff done before, like a physical, and mammogram and all that, and made sure I got my 90-day prescriptions.
Yeah, refill them as often as you can. Try to build up kind of some inventory in your suitcase.
Before you leave, if you have insurance in the United States, we kind of did that. But it'll be interesting to see how we use our travel insurance to get those medications and to be
not only that, but when we run out of medication, what do we do then? Like, how do we start the process? Because do you have to go see a doctor in order to get a prescription? Do you have to do certain things? So, we'll see how that all plays out. So maybe another video in March or April when we're
let you know how that goes when we want to go get our teeth cleaned and all of that. So.
But we do watch a lot of people travel, and they tell us that places like the Philippines, places like Vietnam, you can go into state-of-the-art dental offices and get your teeth cleaned for $15 or $20.
Yeah.
And so, we will definitely take advantage of the global, system, whatever is available. We'll continue to do our research. We'll continue to learn. And that way we don't, spend our money frivolously. But, onto the money thing, I wanted to talk a little bit, because we've had a number of our friends especially, but a lot of people have asked outside of that, how are you guys going to travel? Like, oh my gosh, how can you afford to do that? Well, there's two or three parts to that question. So number one, like I said earlier, traveling internationally full time is cheaper than us actually living in California for sure, but even living within Reno. So if we can pull this off for $5,000, in order to be able to do that, you have to have all things in order. And so talking about finances, so I have kind of a strict rule on my investments and my finances and things like that. So the first thing I try to tell people, because I watch a ton of videos about people talking about, their 401ks and their IRAs. And, let me just tell you this. Anybody that is getting towards their retirement years and they don't have their money in a place that's generating income, not depending on growth, is completely, they're just missing the boat. Let's just say you had $1 million in your investments, and it's all based on IRAs and mutual funds and 401ks, whatever. And let's just say that 3 months before your retirement party happens, the stock market drops, 20%.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah, yikes. You're stuck. So the strategy that you want to have is, start taking your money off of the stock market growth table a little bit and move it into something and somewhere that's generating income. So look at it like this. If you had $1 million, you could go buy let's say a fourplex in Phoenix, Arizona, whatever. So you have 4 2-bedroom units. You pay that $1 million, you pay it off, and then you're generating, let's say, $10,000 a month in income. Okay? So your income is coming in. That takes care of your livelihood. That takes care of your bills. That takes care of your travel. The value of the property might be $1,100,000, $950,000, $1,200,000, $850,000. It doesn't matter, because that's not what you're depending on. It's the same thing with your IRAs or 401ks. I'm not saying don't be in those, but make sure you're well balanced. Because if you have all your money in just a growth type of an account, if it's up when you retire, oh yeah, lucky you. But think about the people that retired, 2 years ago or 3 years ago when COVID hit, or the people that retired in 2009 when the crash just is unpredictable. But so have your money in a place where it's generating income. And I use Compound Capital. He happens to be he explains what's happening with my money very clearly, and I trust him. But I've also got money in other places, right? I was fortunate enough to work for a company for 30 plus years and get a pension. Teri saved some money over the years. She's got a 401k. We have a lot of equity in our homes, which is really fortunate, but we're not going to sell everything and use all that money because when we're 70 years old or whenever we stop traveling, we're going to want a house to go back to.
Yes, and an RV because we want to travel all over the United States.
Yeah, that's next. So we'll do this for 2 or 3 or 4 or however many years.
Yeah.
And then we'll go buy a Class C or a Class A. And
definitely want to do that.
US, Canada, maybe even into Mexico for a few years. And all of our friends are all RVers, so we're going to have a good time traveling with them.
That's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
So other than that, let's see. I'm going to go over my list here. I make a lot of lists.
Notes. I wanted to talk about Airbnbs because we find that those are better for us because of the kitchen. It's a little bit more spacious than just a hotel room. I find that having a refrigerator, simple foods that we can cook and for lunch, most of the time we go out for dinner. So that kind of makes it a little bit more affordable. So it's a give and take kind of. And so, we are doing Airbnbs mostly. Yeah, so the thing about Airbnbs is it generally keeps your costs down a little bit because of the food. It's also really much more comfortable, right? When you've got a little family room and you can sit and watch TV. And we bring our Fire Stick everywhere. We actually brought our Fire Stick with us on the first 3 months of travel. But we forgot the remote control at home, and you can't set up the app remote without having it already set up. So so we're really new at this. We've only been doing this for 3 months. And so we're learning so much. And it's just incredible how much we have learned. Mistakes going forward. So I want to talk about YouTube specifically. So not just YouTube, but kind of our whole infrastructure. So I use Power Director. So when we got started on this trip, we talked about doing a channel. I had no idea. I watch all these people do this,
And I'm like, wow, this is like a TV show. These things are so well done. Well, I started looking at Adobe DaVinci Resolve. I started playing around with those for about a month or two.
I was watching him. I was just like,
oh my God, I was so frustrated.
They look so crazy.
So here's the deal. Not that I'm not.
They look complicated.
Well, I'm pretty high tech. I mean, I can pretty much do anything technically.
But he found that his phone worked for him.
Right. So Power Director. Yeah, it's I do everything on my phone. Everything. I video on my phone. I take pictures on my phone. I edit on my phone. I upload. I download. I do everything on my phone. Now, with that being said, you're not going to get this professional quality. It's going to be sometimes a little shaky. Maybe sometimes the video's not perfectly clear.
Yeah, I'll take videos and send them to him.
Yeah.
And then he puts them together.
Just incorporate it into the whole thing.
You know.
So. But yeah, so I take YouTube and making these videos really seriously, but we had one couple that we were kind of chatting with on a YouTube video that I was commenting on, and they said something to me that just kind of pushed the rock over the side of the hill. And they said, listen, John, don't let your social medias consume your life, because you're out there to travel, have fun, and relax, and do everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
And we have some friends that we know, they spend up to 4 long days per week making their videos. And some people, obviously you get to some of the higher end ones and they have crews and they have people that do that for them. Yeah. But our intention is not to monetize. Monetizing on YouTube, hey, if that happens a year or 2 or 3 from now, so be it.
It's a plus,
but yeah, right now this is our scrapbook.
We're in a learning process. For sure.
And it took me about a month to really understand Power Director. It's pretty powerful though for being on my phone. I could sit and do this. Yeah. Like we'll be on the bus this afternoon for about 5 hours to Dubrovnik, and I'll probably knock out half of the intro video that you guys are watching right now. I'll probably put this together and start to splice and dice it. Okay. This is going to be a really easy one because this is her and I talking for an hour. And I'll splice it up.
Which is not easy for me. I'm not a great talker. He can talk for days, but this is a challenge for me. So
yeah, she spent her career talking to patients one-on-one,
yeah.
And I spent my career talking to crowds and talking to rooms full of people, and that's just the difference of our life to this point.
Yes.
But we play off each other pretty good, unless there's a bee in the room or something. Because she's kind of got this shiny object.
Oh, stop.
Like, just stay focused, right? Here it is. Okay. Anyway, so we're not planning to turn our social medias into a brand, into 2.5, 3.5, 4 days a week of our time. You know what? We'll be sitting on the couch and we'll go through and pick our 5 favorite pictures to post on Instagram for the week, or we'll take an hour to do our Facebook post, and we post. So Facebook, I usually do the major posts. She does some day-to-day stuff to where she likes something, so she'll throw it on. And then I do 95% of the video editing and everything. She tends to more of just, do some videos and send them to me so I have them to incorporate. And it works out great. I mean, we both have our, thing that we do. She does all of our hotel bookings. And we both kind of do the event day-to-day stuff. I do all the airline because I do use some points. So we're not going to let social media consume our lives. We're going to do, enough to kind of showcase what we're doing. And that's kind of where we're at and what we're going to do. The videos, I think the most important part of our videos, that's our scrapbook. So 20 years from now, hopefully YouTube will still be YouTube, and we'll have, this amazing, catalog of videos just showcasing everything we did.
Our grandchildren.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully our great-grandchildren will be watching them with us. We'll see if we're still around, but yeah. And then let's see. Let me go to notes again.
Yeah, so if you guys have any good advice for us, what you guys would like to see in our videos, or if there's anything that you guys want to know about us personally.
Yeah.
Not too personal.
Right.
But yeah. just anything that we can improve on, things
Yeah.
that you like, things that you want to see more of, do more coffee talk. So I plan on doing that. I've done one so far, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of
Do
nice.
another
We
one.
both have done that, and it's kind of nice to have our 5-10 minutes alone, across the street, down the street with a coffee shop, and just kind of put our thoughts into a video when the other person's not sitting next to you, because you can kind of, breathe and let some words out that you maybe wouldn't do if you're sitting in, the family room. But yeah, so she's definitely going to do more coffee talks, and we'll have to come up with a good name
Yeah.
for her,
And
her
I'll
segment.
do like the
Teri
videos,
time.
the videos of all the Airbnbs that I go through and
Yeah.
what I liked and what I didn't like.
So she does videos that I forget to do, and I do videos that she forgets to do. So when we put everything together, we tend to have everything we needed. And again, we're not professionals. We are not the greatest video editing storytellers yet, but
Yeah.
we're trying, and it's not easy, because we're trying to enjoy ourselves. We're trying
It's
to.
fun. It's fun. We enjoy it. I mean,
Yeah.
it is. I don't know. Is it a hobby? I don't know what you. Yeah, we're just out there to basically
Have
do this
fun.
for our kids, so they can look back on them. So for you guys out there, to learn from us, and maybe you guys can do the same one day. That would be.
And hopefully,
goal,
by the
basically.
time this video goes out, we will have 500 subscribers.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so
I'll
just
never forget when we got our first 100.
right, we were in a hotel in Berlin,
It was amazing.
and it was like an hour earlier. We were looking at videos, and we're like, "Gosh, we have 99 subscribers," and maybe the universe heard that. But we looked at it again 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, and boom, there was our 100th subscriber.
Yeah, it was really
And that was
exciting.
only less than 3 months ago. So, I kind of see how this whole YouTube thing snowballs.
Yes,
Because-
and how you kind of get excited, like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, people are
Yeah.
interested. We're
Yeah,
like, what?
for all you YouTubers out there that have 20, 40, 100,000, a million subscribers,
Amazing.
we're not there yet, and we don't
That's
get
so-
that excitement. But guess what? I feel like we're Little League baseball. We're more excited about the day-to-day stuff like that, like the 100
We are
subscribers.
watching all your guys' videos, and should
Yeah.
we name a few people or no?
No, I don't want to name anybody because I know we'll
Is
leave
there
somebody
favorites?
out.
And yeah,
We have 3 or 4 couples that we absolutely love watching.
Yes, we
They're
do.
some of them have their videos are 10 out of 10 every week.
we're like, oh
But
my
they're
gosh,
just-
they're so good.
Yeah.
How do they just talk and
Well, we've found that the people that we like the most tend to be just so natural. Like they're talking to me or they're talking to us when we're watching the video. And again, we'll tell you who you are in a comment on one of your videos because we think you guys are great. And there's a couple couples that we've actually talked to that we plan to either meet up in their hometown or they're going to be somewhere that we're going to be over the next
that's
coming
gonna be
months.
really exciting.
That's
It's
gonna be
super fun.
cool.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be like meeting YouTube celebrities.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be like, oh, you guys are.
I mean, it's
YouTube
funny because
people, idols.
we've seen them a million times and they've only seen a few videos of us. So
Yeah.
but it's going to be kind of fun to meet people. And we've seen some of some of the people we follow run across people that we follow. And it's kind of fun. And something else that I'll say, I was talking about it last night when we were watching some videos, because one of the things that makes me kind of crazy is when people don't lift up their colleagues and their people that are doing the same thing that they are. And I mean that in the best, truest sense of the way of, if we follow you, give us a follow, because we're trying to get to be where you're at. We want the world to see our travels. We want people to kind of see what we do. And this is, again, not about number of subscribers, but it's almost like I subscribed to a guy yesterday. We were watching somebody's video. I subscribed to a guy literally while we were still watching that video. He subscribed back.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, and I thought that is the truest sense of this community, where people are helping people.
Yeah.
And so that kind of thing I think is really important. And I think that you have a connection with people that connect with you, even if it's just them saying, "Hey, we want to follow you, and we're excited about your journey."
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's it's fun to watch this thing kind of grow, and it's been, interesting from the perspective of, oh my God, getting on that plane to Taiwan and trying to build a video. I was like a deer in headlights. I didn't know where to start.
You did great, honey.
And believe me,
really,
there's some videos
really,
that you'll see. You'll see. I hope the progression, but like the first or second video, we had the sound out of place and the pictures that were taken like this, that I didn't know how to blur out the sides, and now I know to take every picture like this because they show better. Okay, so we're gonna focus more on in the future videoing us, because we've noticed that all the people that we follow that we really like, they do a lot, they talk to the camera, and it's not about them being on camera, but they're actually telling you a story. And I think when you see it in their face versus hearing my voice behind the camera, it's a little different. But
you get to know them, and I think that's what I liked about watching other videos and learning from them, is the way that they just talk into the camera and get to know their personalities. And it's learning from them.
It's fun to get to know people through videos.
Absolutely.
And then it will be really cool to actually have a beer and hang out with them for an hour or two.
Yeah, that would be neat.
So we're excited about that. Well, here, let me talk a little bit. So our itinerary coming up. So we are in Split, Croatia right now. We got here 4 days ago. We had an amazing time. It's a beautiful city. And then we're heading to Dubrovnik today. And we are heading to Istanbul, Turkey after that.
Yeah.
That looks really cool.
Yes.
And after that, we're going to fly over to Cairo, Egypt. And we're going to do Egypt and Israel and Jerusalem, and then head over to Jordan to see Petra, which is one of our bucket listers.
Yes, absolutely.
And then from there, we're going to head to India. We're going to be in India for about 3 weeks or so. We actually met a couple when we were in Taiwan that was staying at the same hotel as us, and they live just outside of Mumbai. And so we plan to spend some time with them, and hopefully they can show us around, or at least give us some some good advice.
Yeah, it's always nice to, if you know someone like South Korea.
Yeah.
We met Sean, which is a mutual friend of ours, and so we called him, and actually he took us out for the day, and he's just so awesome. We met his son. So to meet those people that live there, or a friend through a friend, it makes it more intimate, more show you our town, where we live. I think those experiences are really
we've had pretty much
meaningful
in every country. So when we went to Taiwan, I've got dozens of friends in Taiwan.
Yes,
that
Taiwan
was super easy.
It was super fun.
We went to Japan, and we were able to meet one of our best friends' son, Brandon.
Yes.
Shout out to Carrie.
Yes.
And Mike.
He's in the military.
He's in the military, so we met him in Osaka, and we had a blast. We hung out for the night, and then we went over to South Korea, and of course Sean and his son, James. Like I said, he's a goofy kid, but he reminds me of my grandson, Dominic.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun hanging out with him, and he took us to a really cool, UNESCO heritage site, and to a cool restaurant. Mm-hmm. And then we headed over to Amsterdam. So then we headed over to Rotterdam for a few days. Mm-hmm. And we met with Stephanie and Arvid. Yeah, that's my daughter's, one of her best friends. And that was really fun and meaningful. Again, like I said, we're going to all these different countries, and it's really makes it special when you do meet someone that you either have a mutual friend with, or you've known for years, and they happen to live there, and that's where Stephanie was, and that was really special to see her and spend some time with her. Yep. And then everywhere else we go, we've also had some other friends that we've met with, but we love to talk to people when we're sitting at a bar or we're sitting somewhere. Sue and Charles too. And Venice. That's right. We went to Venice. That was an amazing time. Of course, watched the Venice video. We hung out with Sue and Charles for 4 days. I've known them for 40 years. Yeah. Good, very dear friends of ours. So yeah, we had a blast. Yeah. So that was really a fun 4 days. So it's been a lot of meeting people. Yeah, and then we've met people, and if you watch our videos, one of the things that I do in our video, and I don't know if you guys like it or it's stupid or silly or weird, but like if we meet somebody, we'll just give them a shout out on video and say, hey, this is our friends from wherever, and say hi, and
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of fun because then when they watch it, they feel connected, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I love doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had fun with that.
Our Uber drivers are really cool and nice. They'll
So just put yourself out there.
Yeah, meeting your friends that you've known for over the years and meeting them in different places is really cool.
Yeah. So we'll put our itinerary out for next year at some point soon. We're planning after Christmas. We're gonna fly to Australia. We want to be there for New Year's Eve.
Yay.
Yeah, and then we're gonna do New Zealand and then Southeast Asia for 2 or 3 months. I mean, we've got tons of good plans. We've got about, I don't know, somewhere around 60 countries left that we want to hit.
Yes.
And there's probably 20 more after that we will get close to that seem like fun, or we do some research and they look cool.
Yeah.
So that's about it. Let's see here.
Should this be a wrap?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. So we gotta we got our bags packed and we gotta head to the train station and head to Dubrovnik. As we've always said,
just
go. So we'll see you guys in the future, and thanks for following us. Thanks for watching, and leave comments. Let us know anything that you want to hear about.
Like and subscribe.
The good, bad, and ugly.
Yep.
Tell us what we're doing wrong. DM us, email us, buy us a coffee.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.
That's when it's time to give it your all. Don't let one mistake turn